Very interesting to me. You said you never know what you're going to come up with until after it's been fired or something.
Well, that's because ceramics, when you put them into a kiln, at the high heat of a kiln, sometimes they will just explode or they'll crack or your glazes will run.
Wouldn't that be a drag?
Oh, definitely.
Well.
I've spent a lot of hours on things, and then you put them in, and the first firing, like some of the things we've had on the show here, they look great in clay, and then you put them in, and when you open the lid up, there's these pieces.
That happens to be in a microwave all the time.
Well, yeah. I think I went along with that. I was trying to disprove a myth and found out it was true. Don't nuke. But,
so you brought an airplane, car with you today?
Yes, this is one of the early Jones intercable delivery cars, I guess, that would go out.
Installation trucks.
And I felt since we built ships on this show and snowmen and everything.
You're diversified, I'll say that.
Well, this one here, this is another one. This is all completely sculpted in clay, you know, the same clay I use on here. And it's been fired, and these are all glazes.
This gives me an opening for you to describe a whole lot of different processes that you've used, because you've got the real slick, like whatever they are, fenders or something, and then this has got a texture on it, and then there's another type of texture that you use for the upholstery.
Well, most of this is your glazes. The glazes, this is what you call a froth glaze. And now what you do on this, if you look at the top, it looks just like a cloth top. Well, I actually use the cloth, the same type of cloth I use in my ship sails. And people say you can't do it because it will stretch or it'll crack. I love it when people say I can't do something. I just have to go out and show them I can do anything, you know. But I had problems with it. Yes, it did stretch. Yes, it did crack. So I had to fill it all in. And the reason I went to a froth was because where I had to patch it, because the cloth did distort and everything, I didn't want a smooth surface to show all the defects on it. So I put a froth, and it made it look more cloth.
How do you make a froth?
It's the type of glaze that you use. It just froths by itself. And the other glazes on the interior is the same thing as a froth glaze. And these ornaments, things like this, are a gold, 24 karat gold. You probably
told me this already, but I'll ask you again. Do you paint it first and then fire it, or do you paint it?
No, I usually what I do is I sculpt it, and then it goes into what they call a bisque fire, and that sets all the clay. If it goes through the bisque firing all right, the next step is to put all the color glazes on it, and that's the second step. And when that goes, that's what puts on all your shining, you know, glazes. And to do the gold glazes, you got to go a third time. So, you know, it's this. You're looking at this thing's been in the kiln 4 times, and every time it goes in the kiln, it takes the chance of blowing, because that's just ceramics. That's just one of the. That's the reason people don't.
That's got to be frustrating.
Oh yeah.
Because I can see some hair.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's things that had happened in the firings. See, if this was out of a mold, you wouldn't have that trouble. But when you're hand sculpting your various thicknesses of your clay, some will fire faster or slower, and the brittleness of an original sculpt is the reason they're so valuable, because your chances of doing things like this without a mold are almost impossible. See, if this was a mold, you'd wash out everything, and they'd pour the slip in, the liquid clay, and you could do 100 of these with no problem. But see, I'm hand sculpting these things, so when it's put together, I have no idea.
Might be just a tad above my ability level, or anyone else then, right?
It's, well, you know, not really, because I've never had any training in school or anything. It was just the fact it was a natural talent. I started off simple, and then I started pushing myself to see just how far out I could go into things. And then I started going to sailing ships. But I'm going to say on these faces, let me set this thing down here.
You're going to set that thing down?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I can show you.
That's heavy.